Welcome to today's edition of DriveTime with David and Dave. Often irreverent, sometimes informative, and occasionally brilliant, Morningstar's finest tackle the comedic questions of the day, which no one else even dares to ask. David Vallier and Dave Yarnes come to you each week from their studio in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Now, if you've missed a portion of today's broadcast or would like to recommend it to a friend, you can hear this program at any time on the DriveTime with David and Dave host page at talknetworkradio.com. Well, now here are David and Dave with today's show.
Hey, this is Dave Yarnes coming to you live from Studio 8, Morningstar Ministries, with Studio 8.5. We've upgraded. And listen, this is season
2 of DriveTime with Dave and Dave.
Season dos, I think, if you're in Spanish.
Yes, yes.
We're excited about it. Other than a massive amount of people that we offended early on, and getting threatened a little bit, I think we made it through unscathed.
I think so too. I think, I haven't gotten any death threats yet. I have gotten some we think you're a heretic, but that's nothing new for me. So, hey, it's all good. All
kidding aside, I am so stoked that people are lightening up to the comedy. People come up to me and they're like, you guys are hilarious. I mean, I'm not saying that, whether we are or not, but to me, I think that's cool that people are like, I just love to listen. And so. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think we really had a good time and apparently made a lot of people laugh. So that's good.
So in season 1, we talked about church.
Yes.
We talked about faux pas that you can make. We talked about strange and unusual facts. We talked about all these things. I think we should just go straight to the jugular in season 2 and just talk about things that offend us and things, really get edgy with it because life is too short.
It really is, especially these days. Is that a bad joke?
You get to be my age.
Right.
So, I think, just in general categories of things that offend me, because I would put this in the category of kvetching. It's a Yiddish word for complaining or,
kvetching. Yes, I'm kvetching right now. Let me kvetch for a second.
So I would say, generally speaking, it falls into things that people know that they're doing.
Yes.
And things that people just don't know that they're doing.
So the aware and those that aren't.
The
so
unconscious and the conscious, the aware, the unaware.
Yes.
And the people that don't know what they're doing, I feel this kind of empowerment to point these things out to them.
Yes, it's like their duty. Yeah,
it's my civic responsibility to do that to them. So I would say let's just start with the light ones, and we'll go back and forth, and you can throw them in. But the one that gets me is if I've heard the story 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm like, how are you doing today? And they're like, did I ever tell you that when I was 6 years old, my mom left me in the funeral home for a week and a half. I had to be there. I'm like, all right, I'm sure it was traumatic.
Right.
First time I heard it, it was helping me get it. Second time, but now I've got to step to the plate and go, listen, brother.
Yeah, gosh, how many times do I got to hear this?
Yeah, because they're wearing it like a badge or something, and they got to tell me. But nothing. And I'm not saying certain people are prone to it, older people, but let's just truncate it, because life is short, and and I want to be able to be responsible, I do want to be responsible, but I want to be respectful. So that one gets me. If you've telling me the story 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
Now, let's be honest. Do I do that to you?
You actually never do that. I can say that 100%.
Oh, cool.
I do have a coworker that does do that.
Is he in the room with us?
He is not in the room. He is not in the room with us. But this one guy, I love him to death, but my goodness, he will tell me the same story. And I've got to sit there, give him all the attention, and he's giving me with all the passion. He's like, David, blah, 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 blah. This is the 7th time I've heard this story. And he's like, why aren't you paying attention? I'm like, because you've told me this 6 times, verbatim. Sometimes people tell you something and it's at least different. No, it's the same exact presentation, same exact everything. I'm like, how many times you can tell me the story?
And is it, sometimes I feel like they're kind of scolding me because I didn't get the significance, importance in the lesson the first time. Right. I didn't pay it the homage that it was due, so that they've got to repeat it again and again. You really must not, because you're not in tears at this point. So I've got to tell it again.
Yeah, and honestly, like usually if we don't remember it, it's because it wasn't interesting. I'm just being honest. Like, come on.
And then I would say, like, I'm going to turn it over to you for yours, but I would say, like, in tandem with that, a close cousin, like New York to New Jersey, like is like, I want to start the story and tell you what happened to me last week. Well, wait a minute. I can't really start there. I got to back up.
Oh, God.
I got to back up.
Yeah.
This same thing happened to me last year at the conference. Well, not when I first started here. Before you know it, they've tangented back to Genesis. Yeah. They're like, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to take me like an hour and a half to get up to like where they're actually like.
Oh, yeah. When someone in the middle of a story says, "Oh, wait, let me back up," I'm always like, "No, I'm looking for the door. I'm looking for any kind of exit." And yes.
Now, listeners, help us out with this. Do you think it would be cool if I made some kind of like a flashcard?
Yes, I actually do. Have you ever thought, us being Christians, right? Like, you're a Christian, right?
Yeah,
Dave?
I would say marginally.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
Depending if you have a liberal view of that.
Exactly. But like, we're always told tell the truth and everything. Like, how amazing would it be if we could really, really tell the truth in those situations?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So if someone started and saying, "Let me backtrack," and I could just be like, "Hey, brother in Christ, I'm communicating to you the biblical way. I literally have no interest in this story." Wouldn't that be great? Like,
I have no interest in the story, and it's compounded by the fact that you're tangentially going back in time.
Yes, I like
and
that word.
Now I'm becoming more agitated and irritated.
Yes.
And I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, I'm just walking out my biblical life. Like, hey, why can't you just be with that?
You know, because I think, like, would it create monsters, or would it create people? People would be like, "Thank you."
No. You maybe I would say thank. If someone did that to me, I'd be like, honestly, thank you. Like, I didn't realize that. But I would say 9 out of 10 people would get really pissed off. I think it would create monsters. Like, I'd be a monster. I'd be like, "Oh, great, I have permission." Like, it's like with the masks,
Yes.
Like, to me, I'm like, that gives me permission not to talk to anybody or engage. Or like, if you say hello, I just keep walking, because you can't tell if I'm responding. I'm just like, all right, or just muffle a sound like.
Now, I just want to tell our sound man that I think we crossed a new level there with some language.
Oh yeah,
we may want to go back. If all of a sudden you're listening to this and you hear part of the Gettysburg Address, it's because we had to overdub,
or the national anthem or something.
So, all right, those are two of mine. Anything that like just stands out and agitates you? We're in season 2, brother.
Yeah,
If people stuck with us through season 1,
they got us.
We've got a right to offend them at this point.
Yeah. Let me see. The things that agitate me. Are we talking about like within like the church realm, or just anything?
You can do general. You can talk about takeout food. You can.
Well, I immediately had something come up to my mind. I'll tell you, because it's happened to me a lot lately. When people say, "Hey, I just really want to encourage you in something," but then they bring you a complaint.
Oh,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like someone comes up to you and says, "Dave, I just want to say,
backhanded slap.
I really like your shirt, but also the way you dress really irritates me." You get what I'm saying? Like, people do that. I can't stand that kind of thing. What is your normal response? Because my response is an immediate shutdown. I'll shut them down.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's almost like you can see this coming a mile away, though.
Yes.
So I'm kind of prepared. You know what I mean? Like, because there are some people that are just so sweet. I mean, I have these people in my life. No matter how much a fool you've been, no matter how idiotic you are, no matter how wrong and sinful, they're just so pleasant.
Right.
You could say something, they're like, "Well, now there's an idea."
Yes.
But they really are. They're trying to find something nice and good to say about it. But others... Like, I mean, it could be your birthday.
Right.
You just went and helped save starving orphans from a fire, fed them. You had the best day of your life.
Yes.
Jesus came down to you, and they're kind of approaching you with this kind of false. But they're coming, and you just can kind of sense it.
You could see them walking up to you, and it looks like they kind of like are uncomfortable and have like a question, but it's not a question, it's more of a statement, and they're making that eye contact with you, and it's from across the room, and they're like, "Oh, 1 second," and you know what I mean, and you're trying to get away while they're trying to get to you.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
I got a confession to make while we're on that one.
Please.
We've just gone through a few weeks of more visitors with us than I think we've had in years.
Right.
And it really, I mean, and for David and I, we'd love to see people come. I mean, some of these people we only see every other couple of years. You're so excited. But I really had to get away from some people that were just trying to get after me about something. Right. And I got to admit, I did this one. This is a confession. I saw a couple of people coming to corner me out of the corner of my eye, and my assistant was walking next to me, and I grabbed what was ever in her hand as though it was a profound document that I had to read and not make eye contact or stop to talk with anybody until I got out of the door and into the parking lot. And I was like, honestly, this is terrible. I was kind of like mimicking and pointing at it, like I was.
You're like, so this is paper. There are words. You are listening to me here, Dave. I do that all the time.
Do you really?
Yes. So Will, I think I've had Nate here when I've seen people, and I'm like, guys, we're in a meeting, and the person's walking up, and I'm literally looking at them, and I'm like, until they come up, I'm like, blah blah blah. I'm like, Nate, Will. I'm just saying their names. I'm like, table. Like things, stuff. And then the person walks up, and I'm like, and that's why we need to implement this today. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, really? And ladies and gentlemen, what you can't see is he's making these intense hand gestures and head gestures as though this is intense communication.
But I'm just saying their names. I'm like, Nate, Will, Sam.
Now, do you teach this in the School of Ministry?
I should. The avoidance class. The avoidance class, how to avoid
our top 10
people.
Secrets. Yeah. The imaginary clipboard.
Yeah. Point, look up, point.
Shake your finger like you're saying
scoff. No. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
But going back, I can't even remember what the thought was, but people coming up to you with stuff, because I think, like, to me, here's where I'm at. Like, I think originally I've managed many people in businesses, probably I would say over 100 people for the last 20 years. And you realize that criticism has to be dealt with in a sincere way. Yes. And at the end of the day, the bridge has to be a strong relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not always, but I like that. Like, if I know that the person's coming at me, and then the sense of, can I really trust and feel that their motivation really is out of genuine love and concern. Other than that, it's hard to take it. And
I have boundaries when it comes to criticism. Like, I'm always, if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I have a critique," I say, "What about?" Especially if I don't know the person. Yeah. And I say, "You have 30 seconds." I do give it. Maybe really? That's I do it often. Like I'm like, "You have 30 seconds." Like, in other words, I'm not sitting here all day. You have a very short amount of time, and it will not merit a response from me at this moment. And they just tell me, and I say, "Thank you." And if they keep going, I say, "Nope, time's up."
Now, is your personality such, and listeners, if you're out there, you're going to divide into two categories. And I'll tell you what mine is, but is your personality such that will bounce around in your mind?
No.
And it won't.
No.
See, because to me, I'm that guy. Like, if I heard that China, they ran out of fish or something, I'm like, Lord, forgive me. It's my fault. I could have prayed for them or helped develop a business plan. I'm like, I feel bad and like I have responsibility. Right. And then if somebody comes and says to me, that's why, if you guys notice when I preach, I never interact with people before I preach, because I'm with the Lord. And what I don't want is I'm walking to the stage and they're like, "Hey, I just want to tell you I'm thinking about committing suicide lately." Not that that's a joking matter, but what they're doing is dropping something on me, and they know that it'll paralyze me. Right. I'll stand up and I'll be like, Jesus, but they just, and I think it's almost demonically inspired.
Yeah. It's crazy. I just have this thing, like, if I haven't given you a space in my life, like you can come up to me at any time and tell me, "Hey, I've got some what's the word? Something constructive criticism for you. I'd be like, absolutely. Like, tell me, and you have all the time in the world. Even if I disagreed, I would be like, please, but there's other people where I'm just like, no, we don't have this place.
I couldn't even think of any, honestly.
Yeah.
Like what constructive criticism I would give you. Just keep doing it. But, so so as we're going back and forth here.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things that bother me. I feel I'm allowed to eat all the food on my plate, and if you're slow, I can go to your plate if you're sitting at my table, especially if I'm buying dinner. Like your plate is open ground.
Well, I think that's a good rule.
But if it comes back to me, don't take stuff off of my plate.
Yeah. I actually think that's a good rule, especially that if you bought the dinner.
If you bought the dinner and there's 4 of us sitting down and I'm like really hungry and I eat through my stuff and I'm looking and you're just like chatting it up and you got like a big piece of fish or sushi or some Kung Pao chicken or something.
Right.
Am I allowed to dig into that?
Totally. I would not even flinch.
Yeah.
But I'm a food sharer too, though. I like to. So I'm kind of like, oh, why don't you take some of mine? I'll take some of yours. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Now, I usually I'm going for your food with my fork.
Right.
And I go, do you mind if I take some? But it's like behind the action. Like the fork is in it. It's already retracted.
Yeah. It's headed towards your mouth. Yeah.
And then I'm like, do you mind if I take some?
Yeah.
It's hard to do a soup.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's an issue with that, especially if you bought it. If you bought it, it's game on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go for it.
Yeah. I had this one happen last night. True story. Last night, I'm at a little restaurant, up the road, just kind of a pizza joint. And this 2 older ladies were in the booth next to me. So this was like a dilemma. I don't even know. I shouldn't even be processing this on the radio, but help me out with it. 2 older ladies were sitting there. And as I'm walking out by them, I really felt the Lord say, buy them their dinner.
Yeah.
And I kind of like ration it out in my mind. I'm like, maybe they ate $20 worth of food. So I go to the counter and I go, I want to buy those ladies their dinner. And the lady looks at me, the counter, she's like, oh, that's really nice. So I'm feeling good about myself. I put it on the credit card. Somebody bought me dinner, so I'm kind of paying it forward.
Yeah.
And then as I go back to the seat to say something to them, they're gone. And they paid the check in cash and it's on the table. So now I'm like,
oh gosh.
Yeah. So now what do I do? So I call the waitress over and she's like thinking it's like, windfall of a tip and something like that. But then this is terrible. But then I felt shorted because I didn't get a chance to tell these people that I bought them dinner and they bought. So I guess maybe the whole thing was that the waitress got this obscenely large tip.
Well, what you should have done is said, I don't know how you do this, but track down their phone number from their credit card. I need to call them and let them know of my kind gesture.
So it goes. I want the reward in heaven, but I'd like a little bit here.
You're like,
too.
I need some recognition at this point.
Don't you have that like microphone thing you use? Can I use that for a minute? Attention, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dave, and I just want to let you know I bought dinner for these 2 over here.
The whole place applauds. They're like, Dave.
Now, I know there are people that are out there that are like, you shouldn't let your right hand know what your left hand. But I mean, I kind of like getting a little bit of credit for my.
There's no problem with that. I mean, I get it, but yeah, it is nice just feeling like, I did something, for someone.
And I want to get a little hug from them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get that. What's another thing that drives me crazy? Speaking of restaurants, as soon as we were talking about this, it popped in my head as well. I cannot stand, and maybe this is bad because my wife is the total opposite.
I'm seeing some agitation. Yeah. This might be a level 9.
Oh, yeah. I cannot stand when a waiter or a waitress wants to have full-fledged conversation. And when they come back consistently every 5 minutes to check on me.
Oh.
Listen, if you're a waiter or a waitress out there, I love you, but this is all I want. What do you want to drink? I tell you. What do you want to eat? I tell you. Check on me every 15 to 20 minutes or whatever. Like if I don't call you over or my drink isn't empty, I don't need your help. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
I don't know. It's just, or when you get down on one knee. This is the other thing. You get down on one knee and you're like,
one knee
so,
one. Yeah. Are we proposing here?
Yeah. So where are you from? Yeah. You come. What's your favorite restaurants? I'm like, dude.
What about write the name on the table?
Oh gosh. All of it drives me crazy. I don't know why. And maybe it's me just being a jerk.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just like, I'm here with my wife or I'm here with my friends. Like, I'm not trying to make new friends right here. No new friends. Like, let me talk with my people. You know, I don't know.
No, I think that's important because I think like, some of it can be just like, okay, I get where you're going with this and it's not helping your tip any, you know what I mean?
Right.
I wish it were, but,
yeah, nope.
You know, I think that whole, could we do this? Can you give me a little button and I'll put it on my table, and if I want you, I'll press it?
Exactly.
I mean, is that
exactly?
Listen, if you're listening out there, is that just too like crazy to think that's awesome? The truth?
There was a Mexican restaurant in my hometown of Lafayette, Louisiana, called Pancho's, right? And I remember if you needed something, you had this little flag. You know, you just whatever. I'm making the
you
noise.
You pull
like,
the flag up.
Yeah,
the flagpole he's making little tiny.
Yeah, and they would just go up
like you're milking a cow.
Yeah, as soon as the flag would go up, they'd be like, "You want something?" I'm like, "Yes." And then you don't want something? Put the flag
back down.
And they never bothered you after that.
That's what. So, and what
Come
about
on.
it? And so, what if we had a combination of that? Like, because I don't want to like hoist the flag. I want to like press a little button.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because the other night, like I ordered something really hot, and it was hot, and I like went through my water, and I would have been pressing that button. I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Right.
Please, man. I'm like, but I like that, so that way you don't, and I think it would free them up, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
they could just chill or go help another table or just do anything.
Or
but
maybe
get down on one knee and
really
talk
do want to talk with them.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You know, I think while we're on the whole restaurant thing, you know, just the trend of watching people come in and everybody is on their cell phone. And like, I feel bad.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that though. I am guilty. Especially if I'm with a big group of people, I usually will immediately retract. And like while everyone's talking, I'm
now, is it like you're not interested in what they're saying, or it's just like the uncomfortable?
Most of the time, I am not. You've seen me in like the big meetings and stuff. Like, I'm a chatty person. I'm nice, I think. Yeah. But when I get in big groups of people, I usually am very, very quiet. Yeah. Very quiet.
Yeah.
And so
I guess to me, like, I want to kind of like, I want to just walk up to the table and say, "Excuse me, I'm just going to take your phones away for a minute. Yeah. Hey, Dad, this is your teenage daughter, Jill.
Like, oh my God,
going through some issues.
I have a girl
at school, and hey, Mom, this is your son, and you know, just might want to do this. And here, I'll give you a topic. You know, what do you think we're going to do for Christmas this year? Is there anything special we want to do? Go through it. I'll bring your phones back in a minute. And by the way, if you need anything, press the button on the table.
I mean, you might as well be like phone Santa there. You're just bringing families together. What if you did that? What if you dressed up as Santa, went in the restaurants, and just took people's phone? You could become a viral sensation.
I could.
Start creating conversations. And
if you guys want me to do that, if you want Dave Yarnes to go out as Santa this year, and we've got Nate the Great in the studio, he'll nod. Nate the Great, do you think that I will do this if enough people? Yes, he's nodding. He's seen behavior like this all his life. Yeah. I will go out dressed as a Santa suit, pull people's phones away from them if we get, let's set it high, 500 people on social media that say, I want to see Dave as the Santa, the phone Santa.
Yeah, hashtag phone Santa.
Hashtag phone Santa.
Yeah, okay, so if we get 500 hashtag phone Santas, then Dave will do it.
I'll do it.
And we got to record this because I can see many different results. I can see
Nate is cringing over there, by the way. By the way, I just picked my elf.
I see about 4 different reactions here. I see like mom and dad's like, this is so sweet, crying. I see somebody trying to punch you.
Oh, yeah.
I see laughing, or I see like, for some reason, I see you and a bunch of people like dancing around a table.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that is, you know, because I could see people, you know, they're, you know, frustrated because, you know, you get so centric on that phone. You sometimes you don't even realize what's going on around you.
Right.
And if a Santa-esque person pulls it away from you. Like, hey, I was just trying to find on Wikipedia how many whales are left in the Arctic Ocean. It was really important. I was doing a report in my mind, but I think, oh man, I would love doing that.
You got to do it.
And I don't mind getting swatted at once in a while. Yeah. My God.
Hey, you get swat back.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Santa suit. Who's going to want to punch Santa?
we got to video this.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah, great. I think it'll be good. I think, let me give. All right, so another one that gets me. This one just bothers me. Like, unless you are an older Jewish grandmother, people that want to touch my face. Have you ever had that? Like, oh my gosh, all the time. I don't know what that is because, like, I don't mind hugging, I kind of do like the one-shouldered hug. Yeah. Kind of like, I'm not going to try to body embrace you, but I kind of like one-shouldered hug where I've got you off to the side where I could almost throw you over backwards if you got out of hand, and I don't mind that. I don't mind shaking hands. But
yeah, it's the face grab or the small of the back. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Like back here, like right above your butt. Let's just be honest. It's right above your butt. It's kind of inappropriate. You want to know? I've got two stories: a face one and a small of the back one. Please. Okay, the face one's not as shocking as the small of the back one, but I remember there was a lady at a certain church that I maybe currently still work at. She came and she was talking to me about the sound, and she was like, "The sound, it's very loud and blah blah." She grabbed both of my cheeks as hard and squeezed my cheeks. And I remember my immediate reaction. I felt so bad. I just grabbed her hands, threw them down, and I said, "Don't ever touch me again." Oh, and. Yeah, so that was one. So if you grab my face, that'll happen.
Is she still in therapy now?
Probably, most likely. Yeah, her face was very shocked. She was like, "Oh," here's the small of the back one. This one is rough. This also happened at a certain church I worked at, may still work at. I was in the bathroom, Dave, at a urinal.
No way.
Doing what?
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, listen.
Off limits.
Yeah, this is so off limits. I am doing what you do at a urinal, right? I'm standing there. This guy comes, puts his hand on the small of my back, okay, whispers a quote-unquote prophetic word in my ear, all the while I'm doing the thing.
Wow.
I couldn't even respond. I was so uncomfortable. But, just imagine somebody whispering like Song of Solomon, and you're like, your eyes are like...
No, he did not, Dave.
Yeah. I was
no, he
I'm telling you, man, this is a real true story that happened.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, I've gotten followed into the bathroom up to the urinal in other countries where people are wanting more and more ministry. Like, like, listen, I got to take time out and go to the bathroom. They'll follow me in. Right. And they're still wanting prayer and stuff like that. I'm like, no, sir. Right. No, you got to wait outside of that bathroom.
Is personal space.
It's a personal space. You know what I mean? Because they feel like, okay, I'm going to, now I'm going to get inside the inner circle here. No, not inside of the bathroom. You got to go back out there. I'll pray for you. As a matter of fact, now you got to go back to the end of the line.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Or just not at all. Like this is just you have now crossed the line. It's very interesting,
Yeah. I mean, because I wouldn't think that I would see myself doing that.
It takes a lot of guts.
If I'm walking with you and we're talking that you're going to the bathroom, I'm making a beeline away
I'm not
from there.
Following you in there to continue on my prophetic word. I'll just be like, hey, it was a great idea. I'll wait out here.
I had a lady from my church, and she wanted her son, I think, to marry Amber Brooks at the time, right? So I remember Amber comes and says, hey, that lady that was talking with you? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, she follows me into the bathroom.
Oh, my.
And because I think the ladies, I'm assuming they don't have urinals in their bathroom.
They do not,
but, but while she's in her own area, she continues talking over the, like telling about the son and stuff like that. And Amber, she's just such a sweet, she was a young girl when she was here. I'm like, well, honey, that's, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, put the kibosh on that. Yeah, that is, oh, man. So don't do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening. Like, no matter how much the word is burning in your heart, like, my goodness.
And I think, yeah. So, Dave, season 2.
Yes.
Off to a big bash. What do you want to see for yourself this year. So we, season 1, we kind of felt our way around. We got our, I think it was so cool. We want to give a shout out to Chuck Christie and Nate the Great and Sam Wise from the Shire who have helped us in the control room and really helped us get this stuff out. It goes around the world and people are, totally cool. We didn't do the live show that we talked.
But we will in season 2.
Season 2 we'll have a live show.
Yes, we will in season 2.
Nice.
We might do a few
live shows in season 2.
Yeah.
And then let me give you, like we're making this resolution. What kind of things do you want to see in your life? Doesn't have to be related to the show, but what kind of things do you want to see in your life for season 2?
Well, I want to see all kinds of stuff. I want to see, better, relationships, as far as like friendship and even like with just all around. I just want to see better relationships. I want to have a great time, even better time than I had last year. And, this past year has been a time. It's existed, but I want this next year to be beyond that.
Yes,
for sure. I definitely professionally and spiritually want to be in like a much better place than even last year. And I felt like last year was pretty good. And so I want this next year to be like banging. Season 2 is going to be awesome.
I want to break out in just straight up stand-up comedy. I just want to like go after that. I've had a couple of like little bands of it, but like it takes me a while to warm up Christian audiences. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it does.
They got a kind of a little bit slow going, but man, we had them roaring this year for Rick's birthday. I was bringing down the house. It's the one time a year I get to like make jokes about.
Did I hear correctly? He gave out your phone number?
He gave out my phone number as reprisal. So I'm doing all these jokes, for his birthday. And, we have just great respect for each other. But I'm going through all these jokes about, him growing up in Virginia and turning a little bit, because he's pretty Southern, turning some Southern jokes there.
Right.
And then he's like, well, I'd like to get back at Dave. And he starts down the phone number. And I'm like sitting there in a room full. There's like 500 people plus the people listening and watching online.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, as he's getting down to the last 2 or 3 numbers, I'm like, surely he's going to stop, right? He's going to say something like, and to get the last number, donate to, ministry or something like that. No, sir.
He gave the full thing.
He went the full thing.
Wow.
The text started to come in immediately. Immediately. Now, thankfully, there wasn't a whole bunch that I had to ban. Thankfully, I'm like, don't send me,
right.
stuff like that.
Right.
But, yeah, that was the reprisal of reprisals.
Yeah, I was so bummed I wasn't there for that because my ultimate goal, and we still can do this one day, is I want to come out dressed as Rick.
Oh, nice.
Fisherman's vest, sweatpants, sneakers, white beard, and just do the whole thing.
Well, I just got to go on this. We pulled one off. It was like that, but what we did is we dressed one of our ladies up and put her in like a wheelchair with a shawl, like she was like ancient. And I go, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick's 4th grade teacher. And I purposely just used the term Rick. So I go, what was Rick like as a kid? Oh, he was wonderful. She's going on and on. What about his spiritual side? He read the Bible every day. What about Rick's writing? Man, it was prolific. He was writing. And he's over here. What would you like to say to Rick Joyner? And she goes, Rick who? I thought this was for Rick Warren. And in front of the whole crowd.
That's awesome.
It totally tore him up. I was so happy with myself for that one. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, but then it came at quite a cost. So go ahead and take us out, Dave. Tell us what we need to do.
Yeah,
and we'll get back on season 2.
Yeah, so you guys know the drill. Go and like us. We're on all streaming platforms, so go follow us. You can find us on all that stuff. You can post about us on all social media.
And the hashtag something Santa, what is it?
I forgot. They got to go back and watch.
iPhone Santa. Santa.
Yeah, iPhone Santa.
iPhone Santa.
Yeah, hashtag iPhone Santa.
500 gets me and my, look at, he's raising his hand as my volunteer elf over there.
He's waving.
Nate the Great will be my elf to go through and videotape and help me. Because if a fight breaks out, I want him at my side.
Yeah, he could beat some people up. So yeah, just follow us, keep listening, and just stick with us on Drive Time with David and Dave, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, guys. David and Dave are David Vallier and Dave Yarnes of Morningstar Ministries. If you would like to know more about Morningstar Ministries, please visit their website at www.morningstarministries.org. Join us next time when we continue with the next edition of Drive Time with David and Dave. For David and Dave and their studio team at Morningstar Ministries, this is Chuck Christie saying thanks for lightening up with us. Psalm 2 verse 4 starts out, "For he who sits in the heavens laughs." Tune in again next time and laugh with us. Until then, remember to share, tweet, Insta, Snap, and look us up on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, iHeart, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and many other podcast portals. Make it a great week.